through a divorce has so many hurdles, so many things that are going to change in our life. But one of the things that is often shocking to people is the amount of people who were your friend before in the marriage, and now you are the devil's spawn. And if you are experiencing this, we're going to list out today. My guest is Jackie Pilossoph from Divorce Girl Smiling, and we are going to talk about the 10 different types of people who may not like you after the divorce. My name is Tracy Malone. I am the founder of NarcissistAbuseSupport.com. So if you are looking for resources, whether you are divorcing a narcissist or whether you are having another narcissist in your life, my website's got a lot of answers for you. I am an international coach and divorce coach, and I can help you get through these times with grace and hopefully less trauma. So let's go meet Jackie, and we will see you on the other side. Welcome, Jackie. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Tracy.
I'm so excited about our topic because it's based on something that you shared with me, which is the 10 people who might not like you when you're getting a divorce. So where do you want to start with that?
Well, I think it was an interesting topic for an article. And I remember the reason I wrote it is because, we all want to be liked, especially when we're going through a divorce. We get really hurt easily. We're insecure. We're feeling vulnerable. And you might be like, oh, this person doesn't like me and it's hurtful. So I thought I would just prepare anyone going through a divorce. Here's what you're up against. Here's who's not going to like you. And it's really not personal.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's one of the biggest shocks for people, uh, especially in my world of divorce, where the narcissist has been gaslighting about you to the neighbors, to the dentist, to everybody for years. And you don't even know it. They're just coming to dinner and everything's normal. But then once the divorce happens, you find out that there's been this underpining of lies and destruction. So, um, you know, obviously, the first one that's not going to like you is your ex.
Right.
Tell me a little bit more about that. I mean,
Well, I have a lot of women who will say, I really love my husband. I'm just not in love with him anymore, and we need to get divorced. And they then are hurt that the ex doesn't want to be friends. And what I want to tell women in this situation is that when your ex doesn't want to be friends with you, he's hurting, he's in pain. You have hurt him. You didn't mean to hurt him. You don't want to hurt him, but you did. And you have to understand you might be able to be friends later, but right now he doesn't like you because he has to possibly give you child support. He has to get an apartment. He has to start his life over and learn how to cook and cook for the kids. And I could go on and on. He has to possibly, half his paycheck is now going to you and the kids. And he never wanted this. So if you think he doesn't like you, you're probably right, but it won't be forever. And it's hard to say this, but it's not personal. It's the divorce. It's what you did to him. And I think as time goes by, you could have a good relationship with your ex if that's what you want. But at the beginning, it's just too raw.
yeah, absolutely. And we need to keep in mind that men and women, it happens in both. And so, the same thing applies to the men that are out there looking at this. Uh, you're, if you're in the narcissistic divorce, whether it's your choice or their choice, there's a narcissistic wound. It is, even if it is, amenable and let's just end this. That doesn't happen in narcissistic divorce. It's war, and one side or the other pulls the trigger. But the bottom line is, whether you are the one that's, I call it the dumpy or the dumper in the relationship, it doesn't matter which one you are. A narcissist gets an injury, like as some of the things you've just described. Well, now I've got to pay money, and now this, and there's so much anger involved as well. And
Well, it's always me, me, me. It's all about them. They can't see anything besides themselves.
right. Absolutely, absolutely. So it's fair to
They
say.
might they might forget that you've been trying to get them to go to therapy for the last 8 years and you didn't wanna go, or that even, like, someone who cheated can even be like, "Why are you doing this to me? I wanna work it out." And when somebody's just thinking about themselves and has no empathy for anyone else, then liking each other is, close to impossible.
Absolutely, absolutely. The next one on your list, which I would love to highlight, is your in-laws.
Yes, well, I wrote your ex-mother-in-law, which in some cases people might be happy that they don't like them because you don't have to see her anymore. But I would say in most cases, the women I hear from are devastated that they are not in this family anymore because they have grown very close to the in-laws. And a lot of the times the person who's getting divorced will tell their parents, "I don't want you talking to so and so." And so what do the parents do? They side with their son and they are pretty much doing whatever he wants, and so they're not being nice to you. They're very cold. They won't let you in, and they're doing it for many, many reasons. I think I wrote a whole other article on why your in-laws stop talking to you. And most of the time, it really isn't personal, but just expect it. And don't be shocked if right after you get separated, your in-laws just stop talking to you because A, they might really not know what to do.
Mhm.
B, the ex might say, "I don't want you talking to her." And C, he might be telling them stuff that isn't even true. So, you don't really know what you're dealing with. And it's very sad and it's very hard. And I'm so sorry if you're listening to this and you're going through that because it's really hurtful.
Yeah, it really is. I want to include in this the whole in-law structure family, the whole structure. So, when I remember my first divorce, I lost my niece that I used to watch every weekend because they were the same age as my kid and they would play together. My son has never seen that cousin ever again. And we're talking
Oh,
20 years
so
later, right? So it affects
sad.
us and affects our children. For me, my in-laws were driving the divorce once he must have made his mind up, but they were the ones, but they also played the Trojan horse. And I want to really warn people, you don't know who your friends are yet. You might think, and I did. They were like, "We told him if he leaves you, we would take you, and we love you more, and we'll get rid of him." And that sort of ingratiated me to trust them and to put some of my fears or my worries on them. And then they used all of that to attack me, right? It was totally the Trojan horse of unexpected betrayal. And, no matter how many years they have been in your life, you're going to lose them. And would there be a few exceptions, people who are listening and go, I have a good relationship? In fact, they dumped. And there's a lot of cases I've heard where the in-laws, if it's a narcissistic, person that's their child, they dump their child and hold on to the grandchildren and you, right? And so that can also go that direction. But the important part is to understand, be careful who you trust, like
Right.
I did with my little Trojan horse story, because I totally thought they were my family. I'm like, oh, they think that he's horrible. He cheated 15 times. They thought that's bad. But then they destroyed me and they used everything I told them as weaponry.
I'm so sorry. That must have been extremely hurtful. And what I want to add to that, though, it doesn't sound like this is the case with you, but for people listening, as time goes by, they could come back.
Mhm.
After the divorce is final and you start seeing them at your kids' sporting events, they might say hi to you and you could actually get the relationship back. Not like it was before, but you might feel a lot better and they might be a lot nicer to you when things have cooled down and the divorce is final.
Yeah, absolutely. And you may very well be seeing them on the soccer field, right? And again, they may be your enemies and that could be really awkward, or they may find that time to come back into the family and, spend time and maybe not come over for dinner, but not, throw darts at you when you're on the soccer field. That'd be good.
Right.
We like to work for that. All right, the next one on your list was businesses. Tell me about that.
Well, I'm going to give the example that made me write include this in the list. Any business to which your ex is a loyal client does not like you. And that is because they don't want to lose his or her business. And so I'll never forget, you know how when you are married or when you get divorced or both, one parent tackles some things, another parent tackles another. It's just the way you've always done it. So my ex would always be in charge of getting the kids haircuts when they were young. He just always did it. And when he got divorced, he continued to do it. And he used to take them to this place, and one time he was out of town for like a while and he hadn't taken them, and he took them there for years. So I said, "Oh, well, let's go get your haircuts. You need them." And I went to the place, and this woman looked at me like I was the devil. She hated me so much. I was so uncomfortable. And I thought, he's been sitting there telling her stories for like years about what a horrible person I am. So she hates me. It was so uncomfortable. Oh, I forgot to add that he also got his hair cut there. So he spent a lot of time in her chair.
Mm.
And so that's why that was the best example of that I could give.
Yeah, hairstylist therapy is like a given. My hairstylist knew every single detail of my divorce, and then I of hers later, right? I want to tap into this as well, and we used my in-laws, as this happens to be the next category, their accountant for all the years we were married. But I became the devil spawn. I became the one. We're not giving her any records. I mean, I probably spent $10,000 just trying to get my records from the accountant that I had been paying for all those years, right? So again, you become the devil spawn to anyone that you've done business with, that was enmeshed with your partner. So we need to know that.
Yes, and I also want to add to that and say that is the reason why Divorced Girl Smiling has all of these resources on my site. So I have financial advisors, real estate agents, because a lot of times people don't want to use the same accountant or the same financial advisor as they had when they were with their ex, whether it's because the person is treating them like they're the devil or because they just choose to move on to someone new. And so that is why you should go to, if you're listening, divorcedgirlsmiling.com and check out my trusted, vetted divorce professionals.
Nice, thank you. Let's go and talk about partners of your ex.
Oh, like current ones?
Well, it said new partners of your ex, sorry.
Oh, okay, got it. Oh, your ex's new wife.
Or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is.
Again, speaking from experience. Now, my ex and I did not get divorced because of this woman. She came way after, years later. For some reason, she hated me. I don't even understand what the issue was. I still don't even know to this day. They're now divorced. And she just was so awful to me for no reason. I will never understand it. So, what I want to tell your listeners is don't try to figure it out. If she doesn't like you, that's on her. And why would you be hurt? There's no reason. It's silly.
Right, right. And again, there are some situations where the new spouse or new partner um is actually helping your kids much more than they could be hurting them too, but they could be, thank God there's someone there. With my last narcissist, I was moved in, and I didn't move in, but they, moved into the family thing, and I was helping when the kids needed this. I would take them to lacrosse and this and that. And so the ex-wife was like, thank God you're there, because I don't think my kids would have someone to take care of them. So she was grateful for that. But
That's so nice.
yeah,
That's really nice. I
yeah.
mean, you're lucky.
Well, it
Uh,
wasn't like we went for coffee or anything, but I wasn't, daggers. So that was kind of good, right? But I think we also have the ex's friends, right?
mm-hmm. The ex's friends, yes. So I think that when you're getting divorced, it's kind of the same idea as the in-laws, where you expect that they're going to be all nice like they always were, and then they're either cold to you or they stop speaking to you, or even they might be mean and vengeful. This actually happened to meet not with my ex-husband, but with an ex-boyfriend. I ran into his sister-in-law, and we had been broken up for like a few years already. And I was like, hi, in the grocery store. I cannot even tell you, Tracy, I was shocked. She was so mean. And I was like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know what I did. And it was just really off-putting. And so again, like I was hurt, and you really can't be. You have to just not take it personally. You don't know what your ex is telling the person. It's just um you just can't take it personally.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think when we go into that, we also go into their friends, you know, my best man. I was like, he was my friend and introduced me to my husband. You were my friend first. But you lose friends, you lose anybody that was connected, and the loyalty, even on the ones that stay, is questionable. Like, are they flying monkeys? Are they giving, my
Right.
ex information? So caution for everyone. If just know who you are, but they also attack and tell the lies, the smears, the gaslighting to your neighbors, to the people at school. So when you go to pick up your child at school and all the other parents or the teachers or the counselors look at you funny, you know what's going on, right? They've been turning them against you. So it's a very big bucket of the people that they can really alienate you from.
And I also want to add that newly separated people tend to be paranoid. Like, I mean, they're not thinking as bad of you as you think. Yes, I think the brainwashing thing, what you said, Tracy, there is truth to it. But I know for myself, I was so insecure that I was like, "Oh, I know they all hate me. They all like are talking about me." You know what? They might be. First of all, who cares if they are? But secondly, they're going to be talking about you for the next 2 weeks until the next person gets divorced and they'll move on to someone else. So try to just let it blow over. Don't be paranoid, and know in your heart that you're a really good person, a really good parent. You're doing the best you can. And then I was also going to say, reconnect with the friends you know who really have your back, because that's going to make you feel confident and secure. Like you have people in your camp. You don't need all these other people in your camp, because you have your real friends who have been your friends since before you even got married, your high school friends, people who know and love you, your family who really has your back. This is a very good time to lean on them. You need them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I just had a story come to my mind. So we're going backwards, everybody. We're going back to the new partners one. So we're going back. And I want to share this was um several of my ex-husband's next people came to me, and one of them is in my book, sharing her story, going, I want this in the story. You saved my life, and it was very powerful. I also was reached out to by my husband was cheating, as I said, during the divorce. The woman he was cheating with, I coached that husband of her. And it was like, it's sort of full circle. He's like, my ex-husband broke up their marriage, so that guy called me, and it becomes like, hey, like we're in the same club. So again, you don't know who will come back, but I also warn people with a very big warning of just that flying monkey factor of how do I trust them, uh, and are they going back to.
Okay, I want to talk about this. So, at the time when the guy came to see you, were you single? Was there any chance for a romantic spark? And the reason I'm asking is because I know a couple who got together as friends after their spouses cheated and got married, and they ended up getting married.
How funny. That was not this case, but it was definitely
And
an
both couples are still together, and it's been like 15 years.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Mm.
That happens for sure. All right, let's get back to our list. Any partners of your ex, new partners?
Oh, didn't we already say this one?
I think we did old partners. No, no, maybe we did. Maybe we
No,
did
we did the new partners. We didn't do
ex-friend.
old partners. Yeah, we didn't do the old partners.
Okay, let's do old partners.
Okay, so this is like the girl who had a crush on your ex in high school who now thinks you're the problem and oh, he's so sweet and why would she divorce him? She must be a total bitch, you know? And so just let her have her little crush and if she wants to date him, she can.
Exactly. I threw them out, but you pick up garbage, go for it. Absolutely. The last one I have on here is your ex's attorney.
Right. So I used to get really hurt and I swear my ex's attorney, it was raining one day when we went to court, and she took her umbrella and shook it out purposely to land on me. I'm not kidding. And I was like, "Oh, nobody even saw." And I mean, isn't that crazy?
Mhm,
And what I tell people who are like, "Oh, his attorney's such a jerk." Well, okay, of course he's a jerk. He's working for him.
mhm,
So you got to let that go. Your attorney doesn't like your ex either. It's not personal, it's all business.
mhm,
And that's a really hard thing for people to grasp.
mhm.
So,
Yeah, I think what you're saying is absolutely essential because, you know, just taking on that, what did I do? You know, when they are rabid dogs going for your jugular, you're just like, what did I do? It's the lies, people. It is exactly everything they've told them to make themselves into the victim of you. So what are they going to go? Hey, it's the passive aggressive shoot the umbrella rain on top of you that is above and beyond the cuckoo scale, but at the same time, um, don't expect them to even be nice to you to open the door. They will slam the door because this is their job and they don't want to alienate their client by going, why did you hold the door open? Or, they just go, enemy, and you're defined as that. It's not personal. That's what our message here is. We take it personally because we're in trauma when we're going through a divorce. But the bottom line is it's their job. It's their job to hate you. That way they can fight for their client.
and isn't it interesting because now so many people are moving over to mediation, and that's not the case at all. A mediator is a third party neutral, and you're not going to feel love or hate from that mediator. You are going to feel like that mediator is in the best interest of your children and also both you and your ex equally. And that's a really good way to get divorced.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, the enemy camp is costly for one thing, and it doesn't help the situation. When a lawyer is getting involved and causing conflict on every little thing that you're asking for, where your spouse might have just gone, okay, that's fine. But the lawyer's not, don't give it to him. We'll use it later. And they are purposely dividing in the divorce. So a mediation situation can be a much safer and quicker place to get some of these things taken care of.
You're so right. And I don't want to even bash lawyers because I think that lawyers, people say, oh, they're just trying to make more money. And that might be true with some lawyers. But I think also lawyers have this obligation where they have to prove that they're fighting for you. They have to like really show their value. And I wish they would just look in the mirror and say, you don't have to do that. I
Mhm.
mean, you do, but you don't have to bring up petty things just to show your client you're working for them. That's totally unproductive and just ruins the relationship between the spouses.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you, Jackie. Will you tell everyone how to reach you?
Sure. Just go to divorcedgirlsmiling.com. That will take you to the trusted professionals I was talking about, as well as my podcast, articles, download my mobile app, or sign up for my free consult.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Tracy, thank you so much for having me.
I hope you found that to be a fun little exercise. Again, looking at the different perspectives and us both sharing our stories of, yeah, my accountant hated me and wouldn't give me any paperwork and this and that. We have to expect this kind of behavior. We have to expect that their lawyer's not going to like you. Uh, but if you have an inkling, it hurts less. Of course, there's not going to like you. Your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, your nieces and nephews, it's going to hurt. but it's part of this game. And I'm sorry to say that you might lose some friends. You might lose family that you thought was your friend and never speak to them again, despite spending 35 Christmases together. So I hope this helped. I am Tracy Malone once again, narcissistabusesupport.com. I help people with divorce, with all kinds of narcissist things, and I'm here to help you. I look forward to meeting you again.